And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I am Michael DeLon, and today I'm talking with Matt Murray. Matt, thanks for being with me today and squeezing out some time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You are welcome. It is going to be great. Matt is the blue-collar king. Matt works with business owners. I'm going to let him just tell you all the stuff that he's done because he's built a super successful business over years, and he's taking his expertise. He's just put it into a book, and he helps business owners understand how to really grow their business through structured systems, through right people. But I'm not going to tell you everything because Matt's going to tell you that. Tell us, Matt, as you've been doing this for a long time, you've built a very successful business. How in the world did you get to doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, awesome. So my journey in the blue collar trade, I mean, I grew up blue collar working on cars, and dad worked on cars, and my parents worked in the grocery stores. And in 1997, I got into HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning in 97, working for a company in Los Angeles. And I did that for 6 years. They unfortunately went out of business. They went bankrupt. They brought us all in on a Friday and laid us all off. So there I was. Yeah, June of 2003, I was without a job right before the summer. So I went out and I'm like, hey, I've been doing HVAC for 6 years now. I'll go out and I'll just hustle some side work up. Well, that was the beginning of what is now my company today, 20 years later, Evolution Mechanical. And I tell people this, so I didn't build the company by design, it was by default. And here I am 20 years later, it seemed like a flash, and I'm still on my summer side job, and it's been 20 years that I've been running this thing. Now we've got 40 employees. We have a headquarters here in Southern California. We have another branch up near Sacramento, and we service the whole state of California. So it's been a fun, long, and hard road of ups and downs. This thing I call my 20-year-long summer side job.
That's hilarious, man. I love the bobbing and the weaving and everything. And so many times, I mean, your story resonates with me and with so many other people. Is because, we start something and we find ourselves. I mean, I found myself in prison before I started my company, not a literal prison, but a job that I hated for 2 years. And I had to get out. And it was like, okay, how do you do this?
Right.
And you figure it out. Obviously, you figured out some things since you've grown the company. You've delegated well. Not every entrepreneur figures that out, and they hit ceilings of complexity, and it stops them. Do you find that with business owners?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I believe there's multiple ceilings, right? I don't know if they ever really end. There's definitely levels to the game, kind of like a video game. So for me, there was these ceilings and iterations where I would grow, I would hit a ceiling, and then we would kind of like go backward. So it was up and down, up and down, up and down. So yeah, I would definitely bump up on these ceilings. And what I learned was that it was about 2017. So after about 14 years of beating my head against these ceilings, if you will, I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. It's like win, we lose. We win, we lose. We win, we lose. What is going on? There's got to be a better way. So yeah, that's when I started to do some research. I joined a peer advisory board where I would go and meet with some other CEOs and executives. And I started listening to these very successful men, and they started talking to me and asking me questions. And, they told me about all this stuff. And long story short, what it boiled down to is looking at all these things. And I would tell them all my problems, about my vendors and my employees and about this and that and the market. And they looked at me and they said, well, there's something that we feel is missing from this list. That's probably one of the big problems. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? I was so excited to know, like, what's missing, right? And they're like, we don't see you on the list. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Clearly there's nothing wrong with me, right? So yeah, that's where my personal development journey began, was in about 2017. That's where I learned about coaches and stuff. So yeah.
Dude, I love that, because we are so clueless until they reveal, and you're like, oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
No. And the thing I love about coaches and that story is we hit these ceilings of complexity. Nobody teaches this stuff.
Correct.
And that's why I love the peer advisor group. I've been in coaching programs for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because they bring an outside perspective. I mean, man, I am a marketing guy, right? I just happen to be a book publisher. But I've got 3 marketing coaches for my company because I can't see my company clearly because I'm way too close to it, right?
Yeah.
the value of a coach. I mean, people say, well, it's so expensive. I'm like, dude, it's an investment that pays for itself with one idea.
One idea can change the entire trajectory of your life and the course of your business, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about a little bit about that. I mean, the other thing I hear, and I love the name of your company and everything, Blue Collar King, because I don't know if you hear this anywhere, probably not, but it's so hard to get people to work anymore, and I can't find anybody. And so talk a little bit about that whole mindset, but the reality or not of all of that, because everybody's struggling right now.
Right, for sure. So on the blind spots thing and not seeing ourselves, it's very true, right? And I love how you pointed that out. We don't see ourselves. And I know the cliche saying is you can't see the forest through the trees. You can't. So one of the best things about having the right, and I say the right coach, a right coach is someone that's going to work with you in the trenches and get down there to your level and see what's happening and what's going on, and then it's going to tell you the truth. So coaching, it's very important to have a coach that's going to tell you exactly what's wrong with you and with your operation, because we have blind spots. We can't see ourselves. Like, we don't see ourselves making our own moves. So on the talent thing, it is, it's tough out there in the market. It's not insurmountable. There's definitely still hungry people out there that want to work and are willing to work hard. But I would agree with you, in terms of the masses, there's definitely a society or a generation right now to where they're less motivated to work. If it's not Facebook or tech or Google or Apple or whatever, it's not cool, right? Or it's not sexy, so they don't want to do that kind of stuff. So blue collar is not so sexy or so glamorous, but there's still a tremendous amount of hungry people out there that once they learn more about what we're doing and they learn about our culture. So this is how we motivate people, is through our culture. We have a culture of high performers. So like one of the simple mission statements that we have at our companies is we are building a tribe of A players. So we start talking about that right at the first phone screening before you even get here. We tell people up front who we are, what we're all about, the tribe and kingdom we're building. We're looking for hungry. We're looking for go-getters. Here's our core values. Here's what our culture is all about. It's fun. It's amazing. It's fast-paced. And it's high performance. And if you love the idea of that, we are going to train you and teach you how to be a lion. But if you're the kind of person that, you kind of just want to have a mediocre life and kind of fly under the radar and just chill and kick back and just, clock in and clock out and get a paycheck, you will absolutely hate working here. So we advise you to go look somewhere else. But if you want to grow and win and dominate and you love making money, then we are absolutely the place for you. And it just starts right there with just telling people the truth. We just get it all out right on the front end. That way everyone knows if we're a good fit.
Absolutely, dude. And using that, I don't know if you do this or not, but you could use that on a YouTube video ad to go recruit people, on radio ads or whatever, to go, if this is what you're looking for, come. If not, go away, because you're not going to be happy. We're not going to be happy. And we want to. 100%. I love what you said. Culture is so important, and business owners don't really understand the impact of culture.
Correct.
And how it allows you to attract A players, but retain them. And that's where the real value comes in, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So I have a simple thing that I remind myself. It's just a simple little model. We have to attract, deliver, and retain. And that's both clients and employees, right? So what's your model? What's your simple processes and methodologies for attracting the right people, whether it be an internal client or an external client? How do you deliver to them and serve them? And what are your retention pieces look like in terms of keeping them and sustaining those relationships? And it's a similar model, whether you're working with people that pay you for your services or whether they're here working for you in your company.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. And I know, I've just met, but I know from just talking to you and your background and everything, you didn't just learn all this stuff, right? This is the fruit of you investing in coaching, you investing in mastermind, you investing, putting yourself around other people. Here's something that I've done for years. Somebody told me years ago, Matt, he said, go take a millionaire out to lunch regularly.
Yes.
And so I've done that most of my life.
Love
I
that.
pay, but dude, an hour with a millionaire, you get all kinds of ideas. But as business owners, we have to put ourselves into a group of people that are going to help us grow. So I just joined Strategic Coach, and it's been on my radar for years.
Yep.
The time is now right. My first meeting is in about 3 weeks. I'm super stoked.
Love that.
those people are going to elevate my business to all new levels, and my mind and my thinking is going to get blown out of the water. So talk about some of the reasons behind you joining that peer group, but other things. What were you looking for, and what were some of the benefits of being in that coaching program?
Yeah, for sure. So getting into coaching, and I've been through many different coaching groups and masterminds over the last 5 or 6 years. I've spent about $1 million on my personal development. And when I tell people that, they literally, like, they don't believe me. They think I'm kidding. I've actually, you know what? And I just thinking about this right now, if I would to take into account what I just told you about the investment that I made in my personal development, that's what I paid for coaching. If I would look at the money losses, as there's a nice gentleman named Keith Cunningham that wrote a really cool book called The Road Less Stupid, and he calls it
back there.
Beautiful, right? Dumb tax, right? If I would add up all my dumb tax that I've paid in 20 years, plus the $1 million of personal development and coaching, it's a lot of money. So why do you go get with coaches, and why do you hang out with millionaires? Because they've already invested millions and millions and millions of dollars learning these things that we don't have right here in our brains, of how to overcome these ceilings, these barriers, learn a little bit more about yourself, blind spots, systems, tactics, strategies, leadership, communication, emotional intelligence, vision. I mean, the list goes on and on. You know, there's thousands of tactics and tools you need in order to be successful. And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I'm not exaggerating. You literally need to learn thousands of different things to build and grow and sustain, right? You use the word sustain a successful business. And it's just the truth. It's beyond truth. Black belt. I like using, martial arts metaphorically speaking. But it's like black belt, and then it's like whatever degree it goes to. There's just levels and levels and levels. I don't think there's a finish line.
I don't think there are. And the cool thing is, we'll come into a meeting, a mastermind or something with a problem, right? And we'll be going, oh, I don't know what to do. And you voice it. And usually many times it's the coach, but sometimes it's your peers sitting around the table who've been there, and they're like, oh, well, here's the solution. Here's what I found, right? And you go, oh, okay. Wow, is it that simple? Yeah, sometimes it is. It's not always, but it's the experience. You're paying for the experience of others to shorten your growth trajectory and get there so much faster. I mean, how in the world have you built such a successful business in 20 years? I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. Right. People are going, I don't know how to do that. Put yourself in the right coaching program.
It's the absolute only way to collapse time. Like what I say is, my job as a coach, my job is to collapse time for you. My job is to get in with you. We're going to go to battle together, and I'm going to see landmines that you don't see, and we're going to steer around these things, right? So I'm going to remove trial and error for you. So what took me 20 years, we can collapse that down into 3, 4, maybe 5 years, because I've just seen, it's not that I'm smarter or better, but I've just paid all the dumb taxes already. I've already stuck my finger in all those different light sockets and electrical sockets already, and learned which ones not to touch. And I just know to go that way, right? And then for the things I don't know, I have a coach now too, several coaches actually, that are guiding me to the next season and next level of my life, because I'm at a place now at 48 years old and 26 years of doing this. I don't want to be in trial and error mode anymore. And if you can invest in the coach, the right coach, and the right exposure to get around the proximity and the network, you can remove a lot of those painful trial and error events.
Yeah, very much so. And one of the things I found about in coaching and programs, and I want to explore more about your program and your book that just came out, by the way, is finding a coach that I've been in a few coaching programs, but the best ones is where I can actually have access to the coach. Yes. Not just on the days we meet, but I have a lifeline to him or his team to go, here's what I'm struggling with in between meetings or whatever. How have you structured your programs, and so that people aren't just left alone, and I don't just come twice a year to a group meeting and go, raw, okay, see you in 6 months. Yeah. Talk about what you've
love it. Excellent question. And that's exactly what I preach to my, clients or prospects for my coaching business, that when you sign up to do work with me, you're not going to be plugged into a bunch of pre-recorded videos and courses, and you're not going to get on the weekly call. I do a weekly Zoom call with my coaching clients, but it's interactive. It's Q&A. It's not, okay, everybody's on mute, and I just sit there and just like fire hose you every week with tactics that you can't even comprehend, right? Yeah. So I think what's important as a coach is you have to meet people where they are at. You have to get down into their level and ask very important strategic questions of what's working and what's not. And I think as a coach, it's our job to give them less information, less tactics, less books, and less courses and crapola, if you will, because right now, like, people are just overwhelmed with information with social media and internet and YouTube and chat GPT and la. People's brains are exploding. There's so much information, they don't know which way to go. So with my clients, I'm there with them on the weekly call. They show up with their problems, their questions. Each week they have homework that they're supposed to do. So I have an accountability component. And then during the week, they can text me. And we have kind of a deal too. And I got this from Dan Martell, a gentleman that wrote the book Buy Back Your Time. Yeah, and he has a deal. You have that book too?
Wow.
So what he was saying in the book, and I love this, he's made a deal with his clients. They are not allowed to make any big decisions without texting him and asking for permission, because there's this other thing, and he talks about in his book, self-sabotage, right? Yeah. So what will happen when you're hitting up on that ceiling, your body knows you're going to the next level, but that is danger zone. So you will actually undermine yourself by making bad decisions. And you and I can talk about this one for all day long. This is a huge thing. But the simple solution to that is no big decisions, because it could be a hand grenade or a landmine that you're throwing at yourself and making knee-jerk, quick reactions. Business is, again, back to Keith Cunningham, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And I think that's actually a Navy SEAL mantra or something, but it is. Forever, I was like I thought I would succeed more if I would go faster. Like, I love race cars, I love fast boats, I love airplanes. I'm like, let's apply that to business. No, bad move. Business, slow and smooth.
Yeah. Which is so good to hear. And I hope, I tell you what, if you're listening to this, stop, go back for about 5 minutes and re-listen to what we just talked about. Because Matt, you just dropped 2 or 3 things that are super critical. Because if business owners are watching the internet, they're on Facebook, they're watching all the gurus. It's exactly, and here's the bane of my existence, man. If I've got a pet peeve right now, it's, we can help you scale your business to 8 or 9 figures. And it's like, no, you can't, because you don't have the systems in place. You don't have the people in place. It's a shiny object.
Absolutely.
That drives me bad. He's like, so this year in our company, we intentionally, my son's 28, he's my chief operating officer. We intentionally came into this year, we said, we are going to sacrifice growth for systems, because we knew we needed more systems in our business, and that's what we've been pounding at. And it was the best decision we could have ever made.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Good stuff.
So let's talk about your book and your mastermind and how you help business owners.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. So my book literally just dropped this week. So thank you. It's been, well, I guess 48 years putting this book together. I'm 48 years old, so it's really a culmination of all my life events, but it has a heavy, part where it's about what I've learned the last 26 years of being in the blue collar trades, 20 years being self-employed, and then the last, 5 to 6 years heavy immersion with coaching and personal development. I've taken and put together a framework for people to learn about business. But what you'll learn in my book is that it's not about business systems or tactics. It's actually about you. So my book is a personal development book that shares all the systems, tactics, and secrets that I've learned over the years of how I developed, how I up-leveled my consciousness and learned a lot about myself. And then I was able to cascade that into the business side of things, because they're interconnected holistically. So until you realize that, your business will only grow so much if you're not growing as an individual. So that's what 100%. My book's all about.
100%. Okay. We're gonna make sure that there's a link to your book in the show notes, so that when people come out of the show notes, because they're probably, they're on their phone, they're walking their dog, they're running their business, listening to this thing. So in the show notes, we're gonna have a link to Matt's book, because you need to get it and read it, because this is real world stuff. That's the one thing I love about you, Matt, and is you're not pie in the sky, glass ceiling, higher than I could ever be, unreachable. No, you're Matt. I feel like if I'm in your program, I get to actually text you. Good golly.
Absolutely.
That, folks, is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in and of itself, because you've got problems, you got stresses, you got things keeping you up at night. Talk to Matt. be in his mastermind group, and you're going to find a solution that's going to give you a great night's sleep. Okay.
Yes.
And that's the joy and beauty of being in a mastermind, being around somebody like Matt, who's been there, done that, hit the walls, ran over a few grenades in his life, and is lived to tell about it. So how do people find out more information about you, your mastermind groups? How do you help people? Where would they go to find out more information, Matt?
The easiest way, just to go right to my website. It's very simple. It's bluecollarking.com. My programs are outlined there. There's a link to my book. You can contact us there. Everything's on my website.
I love the simplicity of that. Thank you very much. Yeah, keep it simple, not complex.
Yes.
Bluecollarking.com. We're going to have that in the show notes as well. Matt, dude, you and I could talk for a long time. We got a lot in common. Thank you for persevering. Thank you for growing, and now investing probably the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life, pouring into others and helping them find a level of success that they probably don't even believe is possible.
Right.
And it's just so much fun, isn't it?
I love it. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye, Matt.
Bye-bye.